When you first start making videos, it's totally normal to think editing is just about erasing all those little oopsies and hoping the final result looks smooth. But honestly, if you just snip out every single mistake and glue the pieces back together, those mistakes actually become way more apparent to the viewer. You'll be right in the middle of a sentence, flub a word, cut out that tiny pause, and suddenly you've shifted slightly in the frame or your facial expression has changed. The inevitable result is choppy edits, super awkward jump cuts, and a final video that feels amateur and completely stitched together. So first, you absolutely need to relax because you definitely do not have to get every single line perfect in one single take. I promise you can mess up as many times as you need to get the content right. The real secret sauce is learning the specific skills to stitch those takes together so that your audience never, ever notices the edit. Today, I want to walk you through some practical, no-fuss ways to hide those dreaded jump cuts, specifically when you're working with a single camera setup. And along the way, I'll show you how modern tools can make this entire process much easier without turning your workflow into a giant time-sucking monster. First, let's get some quick context out of the way. If you are lucky enough to have two cameras, hiding an edit is incredibly easy because the switch looks totally intentional. But the vast majority of creators, especially when they are just starting out, only use one camera for all their content. And that singular focus is exactly what we are going to concentrate on for the rest of this guide. Now let's dive into tip number 1, which is the classic crop in and out technique. This is easily one of my absolute favorite simple little hacks for professional-looking continuity. When you cut out a section where you messed up, instead of leaving that harsh, flat jump cut, you simply zoom in a little bit on the last frame of the previous clip. Then, for the next clip, you keep it slightly wider, or you can reverse that entire process for a different effect. This micro movement tricks the human eye into smoothing over the edit, making the whole flow feel absolutely continuous. You have definitely seen countless creators do this little push-in or quick crop to tight in a lot of the most viral content circulating online today. It is extremely subtle, it looks incredibly clean, and it keeps the energy high throughout your presentation. Now, there are tools out there that attempt to automate the removal of dead space, and you might have heard of things like TimeBolt that scan and cut pauses for you. That kind of automation is certainly handy for saving massive amounts of time during post-production. However, the raw output from those tools can often still result in a real mess of tiny jump cuts, unless you manually add in that crucial crop zoom technique or overlay other footage. This is precisely where tools like Vizard become incredibly useful in your editing arsenal. Its advanced auto-editing features don't just blindly rip out pauses. It actually analyzes the entire long recording to find the most engaging moments. It then assembles those clips in a way that reads much more smoothly as short, highly shareable pieces right out of the gate. Instead of generating a long, awkward timeline full of tiny, noticeable cuts, Vizard helps you produce platform-ready clips that already have a polished feel. So, you still get all the speed benefits of automation, but you get much better-looking cuts right away. Moving on to tip number 2, which is probably the golden rule for hiding any kind of editing mistake. Use B-roll and clever cutaways. If you mess up a sentence or totally flub a line, the immediate fix is to throw up some relevant B-roll footage over the top. This B-roll can be a super close-up of your camera gear, a quick behind-the-scenes shot of your lighting setup, or even a screen recording of what you are discussing. While the A-roll, which is your main talking head, is paused during the mistake, the B-roll plays, giving you cover. When you come back, you can be in a totally different micro position, or even have a slightly altered tone, and nobody in the audience will even blink an eye. You can absolutely shoot your own B-roll footage, and that is always free, fast, and tends to look the most authentic for your specific style. But if you simply do not have the time or the right shots available, stock footage sites are always a very solid resource to rely on. You just need to be cautious because buying and managing tons of clips across multiple platforms can quickly become both expensive and messy to track. This is another area where Vizard really steps in to assist creators in a major way. It can automatically suggest and intelligently pair B-roll footage directly with your specific talking points in the script. Since it extracts the key moments from your long recording, it can recommend the exact 2-second portion of stock footage that needs visual coverage. That capability saves you hours you would otherwise spend scrolling endlessly through footage trying to find a single moment to mask a flub. Let's jump into tip number 3. Lean heavily into graphics and full-screen transitions for strategic breaks. If you purposely plan your script around natural cut points, like the end of your intro or the start of a new segment, you can insert a full-screen graphic to bridge the gap. This approach is fantastic because instead of fighting for a seamless in-the-frame transition, you are intentionally switching the viewer's context altogether. You deliver your introduction, hit a graphic slate, and then you can start the next part completely fresh and focused. This gives you permission to perform your content in manageable chunks, rather than trying to nail one long, nervous marathon delivery. You can easily purchase pre-made animated transition packs, or create simple title slides in almost any editor you already own. The real trick here is using those elements strategically so they never feel like cheap, lazy filler content for the audience. You must plan the visuals to perfectly match the established rhythm and pacing of your spoken script. And as you probably guessed, Vizard fits naturally into this stylistic approach as well. Once it identifies all those strong, viral-worthy moments, you can batch export them with a consistent intro and outro graphic style. Then you use the built-in content calendar to immediately slot those polished clips right into your publishing pipeline. Instead of manually assembling every single clip with custom transitions, you just set one style, and the tool maintains that look across dozens of pieces. Now, I want to share a couple of practical workflow tips that have personally helped me and many other creators I coach. First, you should always write your script in distinct chunks. It's much easier to nail the intro, a middle point, and a conclusion in completely separate takes. Second, use a clear verbal cue, like a loud clap, to mark the very end of a take if you plan on using any auto-editing software. That sound helps the software accurately find the precise cut points it needs to work with. Third, always record a few seconds of neutral, non-speaking footage both at the very start and the very end of every single take. This extra bit of recording makes matching color grading or executing that smooth crop-in much easier later on. Now let's quickly discuss some tool comparisons because this question comes up all the time. Why shouldn't I just use X or Y program? Some editing tools only focus on removing silence, which is perfectly fine if you are editing a simple podcast or a static talking head recording. But that approach frequently leaves you with an abundance of those tiny, ugly jump cuts that still require a lot of manual smoothing effort. Other packages might advertise really flashy transitions, but they often don't help you find the actual valuable moments worth clipping for social media. And then you have scheduling platforms that let you queue up posts, but they certainly won't make the actual video clips for you. That inherent fragmentation across different apps is exactly why a hybrid approach, using the right tool for the right job, works best for scaling. Vizard really shines in that sweet spot for creators who are serious about scaling their content output consistently. It automatically pulls those highly engaging, viral-worthy clips from your very long recordings, so you never have to manually scroll through hours of footage again. It can also auto-schedule posts based on the exact cadence you want to maintain for your audience engagement. This means you set the desired posting frequency, and the artificial intelligence handles the rest of the heavy lifting for you. Plus, its dedicated content calendar gives you one single place to manage, edit, and publish everything across all your different platforms. When you compare that to buying 3 separate apps and trying to manually stitch their outputs together, Vizard saves you real time and locks in your content consistency. I want to finish with a quick word about maintaining authenticity, because that is crucial in all of this automation. All this cool automation is not intended to make your videos sound generic or robotic in any way. You should use these tools to powerfully amplify your unique voice, not accidentally replace the personality that people tune in for. The reason viewers connect deeply with creators is the personality shining through, not just the absolute perfection of every single cut. So please keep your little quirks, keep the natural breaths, and use B-roll to cover small slips rather than over-sanitizing every single frame. Your audience will always notice a stiff, over-edited voice way before they ever spot one tiny, well-hidden jump cut. So, to quickly wrap up our discussion today, you do not need to be absolutely terrified of messing up on camera anymore. Remember to use the crop in-out trick to soften any accidental jump cuts between your takes. Always rely on B-roll footage to perfectly hide those awkward pauses and instantly add high production value. And use full-screen graphics to intentionally break your content into those digestible, manageable, professional chunks. If you want to seriously speed up that entire complex workflow, tools like Vizard can automatically surface your absolute best clips. It pairs those moments with the most appropriate visuals and can even schedule them for posting, so you spend time creating, not grinding through timelines. If this breakdown was helpful and you want even more practical advice, let me know in the comments below. Specifically, tell me if you want a tutorial on how I structure my scripts to optimize for these edits in the first place. Or maybe you'd like to see exactly what kind of B-roll I shoot myself using just my everyday smartphone. I can also put together a step-by-step walkthrough on using Vizard to turn one 30-minute conversation into 20 platform-ready clips. Just drop a comment and let me know which deep dive topic you want me to cover next in a full tutorial. And hey, if you are still feeling scared to get in front of the camera, just remember this one crucial thing. Literally no one watching expects you to be a perfectly flawless recording machine, and they never will. What your audience truly expects and craves is content that feels incredibly real and genuine from you. So please, get out there, have some actual fun filming, and let these smart tools handle all the boring, repetitive editing work for you. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and learning these essential editing secrets today. I'll catch you in the very next video where we'll cover another way to level up your content game.